Welcome to Reread. We're on book 2 of the X-Wing Rogue Squadron series by Michael Stackpole. This one's called Wedge's Gamble. It takes place 6 months after the first book, and supposedly Jace dies. And I don't know if that got skipped in the middle of these books, or maybe I just missed it at the end. That was kind of weird that I didn't notice that. And I should mention from the last book, it is told there is a spy in their midst. And of course, all signs point to Tycho, which is what Corran is debating. And that kind of, that storyline moves over to the next book here. Now, they do have some new rogues that join them. Pash Kraken, which is General Kraken's son. Pash is an A-Wing pilot who wants to go over to be an X-Wing pilot to fly with the best of the best, because he's already good, but he wants to fly with the best of the best. They have a few other reasons of why he's with X-Wing Rogue Squadron, and I buy it, it's fine, and I like Pash. The other one is Ariel Nub. She is Niem Nubs from Return of the Jedi. That's I think her niece, his niece or whatever. And she was considered in the first book, but passed up by Wedge because he wanted Tycho on the team. And he tells her that straight up, but she's not bitter or anything. She's just happy to join Rogue Squadron. Anyway, Corran also has a medallion. This was mentioned in the last book too, and now we're hearing we only heard about like at the very end of Rogue Squadron, and now it's all we hear that he has the medallion. It was given to him by his father, and it's a medallion that was given to Corellian Jedi. Now, this is all kind of pre-prequel stuff, so they weren't that sure how things were going down, even though I will say this, there is some mentions to the Clone Wars that is well in line with what happened in the movies, and I'm wondering if Stackpole got information from George Lucas, because sometimes authors were allowed to ask questions of George and ask him what the Clone Wars were about, because a lot of the details about the Clone Wars in this book is spot on with what the movie reveals, which, we're talking like episode 2 and 3. So I was like, wait a minute, this didn't come out after the prequels, but I'm sure someone talked to George, or maybe Stackpole talked to George and got some of the details, because they're pretty spot on. Anyway, the Rogues have to go to Kessel. They're trying to take over Coruscant. One of the things they want to do is revive Black Sun. After Shaz the Empire, Black Sun has been gutted, and they're a dying corpse. They're not dead, but they're dying. What they want to do is free some of the prisoners from Kessel, some of the Black Sun people, and some of the good people, and break them out, seed them out through Coruscant to kind of get the Black Sun to kind of hit at the Empire. Now, this is kind of a short-lived idea, because one of the biggest criminals is Zekathyme, who Corran Horn's father put away, and Corran does not like him. Zekathyme does not like them either, but he is dating Forge's sister, and so she wants to go off the planet with him, and there's some confusion of where Forge's loyalties lie. Anyway, they go to the Empire, they go to Coruscant, they all sneak in undercover, and this is what I love, because X-Wing Rogue Squadron is more about just battles. Even though we get a lot of air battles, dogfights in the novels, Stackpole gave us more. He gave us kind of some infiltration stuff that we would see way more of in Race Squadron, but Rogue Squadron kind of went a different avenue here, and I really like that. So as they're all on individual missions to kind of get a scouting report, it turns out that Warlord Zin's, and this is in the continuity with Corsair Princess Leia, where Warlord Zin's is causing a ruckus with them. Well, this is before Corsair Princess Leia, so he's still not the biggest threat ever, but he is a threat. And because of his constant pushing and pushing on the rebellion, the New Republic figures they have to take Coruscant to make a big stand, to fortify their stance. So they up the timetable to 48 hours. The Rogues have 48 hours because the fleet's coming. So it went from, oh no, we're just here to do some recon, to like, oh man, we really got to get this ball moving. And there's a bunch of side adventures with the Rogues that are going on. Gavin gets accused of being a bigot when he turns down a Bothan. And other things going on. Zekathyme actually gets caught by Curtin Lore, who threatens him, says, hey, look, if you don't work for me and betray the Rogues and try to kill Corran Horn, I'm going to just plant some evidence that Black Sun will find that says that you've been reporting to me and you're responsible for Black Sun's decline, like you were in on the demise of Prince Caesar and everything. So Zekathyme agrees to help him. He betrays the Rogues, but don't worry, he's going to get shot and killed. He's going to try to tease Corran Horn at his death that, you never knew who killed your father, did you? And Corran's like, I'm not going to let this guy get, get the, even if he did kill my father, I'm going to act like that's not important because I don't want this guy to think he's winning at anything. Well, at the end, Zechariah does say there is a traitor here. Now, Corran thinks it's Tycho because he saw, on Coruscant, he saw Tycho talking to Lore. Now, did he? Who knows? Wedge says that's impossible because Tycho died in a raid. He's not even on Coruscant. He died in a raid on the planet. On this other planet, the rogues got I think Warlord Zen's hit. He says that's impossible. He's dead. Well, then it turns out that no, Tycho is on the planet and he's okay. And Corran gets so mad at Wedge for lying to him. But everything is on a need-to-know basis. Corran didn't need to know that. It was an ace in the hole that Wedge needed to make sure, and Whistler and M-Tree and all, the droids are with him too, which they're assumed dead as well. But they're all alive and they're all helping out in a different way on Coruscant. Now, this is the only time I ever get mad at Corran. Corran is so self-righteous, he thinks, he gets mad at Wedge for withholding this information, and Wedge is right. You don't need to know this, Corran. So what if I lied to you? Tycho's, his appearance here on Coruscant needed to be kept a secret. Anyway, Winter is with the group too. Obviously, she has some background with Tycho. They have some interest, it looks like. Now, this was explained in the comic book, as was, they do mention that Sate Pestage had control of Coruscant very briefly until Asard undermined him and took control of the planet, which is what we saw in the comic book. So there is some continuity there, but still not enough, because when Wedge is thinking about all the great people, he goes through the first movies, he goes through all the movies of the people who died, and then in the last book who died. So I guess no one who died in the comic book series was worth mentioning for Wedge. Of course, those hadn't come out yet. I get it, but again, that's the dangers of doing a prequel series later when you don't remember your original series well enough. Just a thought for me. Anyway, they decide, how do they bring the shields down in 48 hours? Well, we have to create a storm, a massive storm, to bring down the shields of Coruscant. And they attack the ice caps. They take over a mirroring station, all the mirrors on the satellite, they bring them that are around the planet, they bring them to bear and burn away at the ice chunks, creating this huge storm that of course takes down the shields and lets the rebel fleet win the invasion easily. Now, Wedge thinks it's a little too easy, and they find out a little bit of the virus, because Asar's been working on this virus the whole time, and a few of the rogues have contracted the virus, but it's easily cured through Bacta. And they think that they may have boiled up most of the virus when they, turned those mirrors down onto the planet and boiled the water. So they think they're in the clear there. Now, will they be? Of course not. We know that because we've read the books before. But right now, it looks like everything's looking okay, and it was a victory, even though Corran Horn died. Oh, that's what we think. He died. Now, of course, no one dies. This goes to my thing that when someone crashes or they're about to crash, they're not going to die. So I knew Corran, the first time reading, it was not going to die. Obviously, I know he's not now, but even the first time, this did not fool me. Because in the epilogue, Corran Horn wakes up on what he's moving to Lashanka, I think, and Asard is there. She stripped him down butt naked. I don't know why, but she goes, "Soon you will be an agent of mine too, and betray your friends like Tycho has." Oh no! So Tycho is the criminal. In fact, Tycho gets arrested because Pash Kraken told his father reluctantly that he heard him and Corran Horn. Corran had a yelling fight with Tycho. Wasn't yelling, but Corran goes, "I'm on to you, Tycho. I know you're the traitor." And Tycho's like, "Look, you're welcome to investigate me because you're an honest person and I have nothing to hide." He said, "So please investigate away. After this is done, please do." But they're saying that Tycho, messed with his Z95 headhunter, which is why when Corran had trouble controlling it, it was sabotaged by Tycho, is what they're saying. So he's been arrested. Wedge is upset because he didn't think this is the case. He went, "Well, Tycho had nothing to hide, though, did he, Pash?" But General Kraken goes, "Well, that's because he knew that Corran was not going to make it, off away out of this mission alive." And that's true. That makes sense. And so in the reader's mind, I'll be honest, in my writing the first time, I was like, it does sound like Tycho is the traitor. Now, of course, I remember who the traitor is clearly, but this book does a really good job having you guess and second guess Tycho's what his intentions are. Is he good? Is he bad? And then if it's not him, then who else could it be? Because you really don't know at this point. And you feel you know most of Rogue Squadron really well. Because again, they do Shield or whatever, the Wolfman, he's not in it that much. But I mean, he's there, but basically mentioning everything. But other than that, you feel pretty confident that all these rogues are on the up and up. Obviously, someone is the traitor here, but I really like the mystique and the mystery that Stackpole puts in this. Like, who is the traitor? Is it really Tycho? And you're asking yourself that, and you don't know that. Again, really good novel, really solid series. I can't wait to talk about book 3 next time.